Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
Just to remind everybody that language usage and content that we provide here may be disturbing, disgusting, probably will be and should be. Words like bloody custard and words that rhyme with that may be featured. Actually will be featured. In fact, perhaps will only be featured. Just warning you.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
We've got Vasu Primlani with us, and she's an urban planning and law minister as well as a geographical expert. We will not talk about that. We'll talk about everything from alternate sexuality to court cases to fraud to convictions to time spent in jail to comedy and above all to a love of the environment and the fact that she couldn't find the studio. I mean, who can't find the studio? It's the biggest studio in the bloody world.
Cyrus says we have other shows too. You should check them out.
Hi, I'm Amit Gurbaksani.
I'm Purva Mehra.
And I'm Pranoti Datta. And we're from a city website called The Daily Pow. And we have a new podcast called The Powcast. So you can listen to us on the Indus Rock SoundCloud page as well as iTunes, Stitcher, and TuneIn.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All right, here on the podcast, my name is Cyrus Says. I've got a new, discovery. This is a happy moment for me. I've finally discovered there is a thing as male periods. Yes, male PMS is not a joke and we need help. And I figured out what it is. It's when you get behind a wheel, when you actually drive a car, that's when male PMS actually hits you. So I'm telling you all out there, be sensitive to my people. If you see a man behind a wheel, he's suffering. He's got his period. You've got to understand that the hormones are raging and the guy is out of control. So just be a little compassionate. Treat it like a case of bimari, of sickness, of illness, which it sort of is for men, but not for women. For women, it's just a body function.
And that's what Cyrus says.
And here it is on the podcast, guest number 2014 on our 53rd episode, the one and only super stand-up comic from New Delhi, Vasu Primlani. Vasu, I start like a train and in 5 minutes I'm tired and it just drags off to one word a minute. So it'll be like a bad ghazal then after that. So just be ready for all. Vasu, before we say hello to you, let me just tell people a little bit about you. Interesting thing, true fact, you grew up in New Delhi, a paradox in terms. Most people I know are still trying to grow up in New Delhi. But you received a master's degree from UCLA in geography, urban planning and law. What a waste of 3 fabulous degrees. You're now a stand-up comedian, environmentalist and child activist, doctor, holistic healer, psychiatrist. Yeah, Vasu, that was a great answer. Thank you so much for the enthusiasm. Look, we have lots to talk about. I want to get into a few things I know about you, which we've discussed off air. But first, I want to just go back to, because it's very interesting. You were in the States and you were doing the typical geography, urban planning and law. Well, not typical, but... And what happened? How did you become a comedian?
From that, I started up an environmental non-profit in the US that I ran for 13 years.
This is not typical Delhi accent that you've got, I got to tell you.
I lived in the US for 17 years.
17 years? Yes, so it's a sort of mixed accent. So you have no friends. You're like Shoaib Akhtar.
No friends.
Shoaib Akhtar in the Pakistani team, he spent 6 years learning English in Scotland, and so he speaks Punjabi Scottish. So he has no friends. No one can understand what he's saying. But it's a little better here, Vasu. Yes. Sorry, I interrupted your flow.
Thank you for understanding.
I've kept my rumal right here. No, if there's going to be any tragic stories, which will come up in a couple of minutes, not tragic, but challenging stories from your life. Let's put it that way. Going back, so you were studying in UCLA.
That's right.
And
then I started... What? Who? What's happening?
No, the transition.
Yeah, who? What? Yeah. So I ran an environmental non-profit greening restaurants, and this was
Slow. My audience is 9 people. Most of them are challenged. Sorry, I'm sorry to break your flow. Faster.
He's always like this in bed too. Okay.
In separate beds because you won't let me next to you. That's for sure.
That's for sure. So I ran this environmental nonprofit greening restaurants and created quite the model in the United States wherein normally you think about environmentalism, it's saving owls and it's the stupids who save the environment, talk about saving the earth.
And for me, it's saving the middle class in India.
Right. So I turned that paradigm on its head. I made the environment the means to the end being saving money. So my success rate working with the business community and transforming them.
So you're a capitalist environmentalist.
Capitalist environmentalist. other cysts also.
Well, that's very interesting because it's like a paradox. I love paradoxes. A capitalist and an environmentalist.
That
Rare.
is right.
You're not a leftist.
That
Or
is
you
right.
could be a leftist, but then you would have to not be an environmentalist.
No, I am Sindhi. I work with money.
There you go. There you go. That's in the DNA. No leftist for you.
See there?
Fair enough. Okay, sorry. I want to clear this up. But so you were doing this while you were in college?
No, right after college. I
Right after
started
college.
my non-profit.
Okay, so let's leave that aside for a second. Where's the comedy coming from? Because that's the core of who you are.
Yeah, I've always loved comedy. And then a friend of mine, Vidur Kapoor, is a major comedian in the US. So
Right.
we were talking and he said, I'm really loving it. And I said, how do you do it? And he said, you do it like this. And then I did that. And there we are.
Okay, that's a very, very interesting explanation which makes no sense whatsoever. So let me rewind then. Let's go back to Delhi, the early days, the bachpan as we call it.
Yeah.
So you grew up in what? In which school?
St. Thomas School in Delhi. I have a twin sister.
Right.
So we both went and fought. And
Okay, so were you known to be the comic girl then? Were you like a
actually, I was.
cheeky, irreverent
yes.
sort of girl in the class who took on the establishment and occasionally saved the trees outside as well?
Yes.
Delhi does have 3 or 4 trees, I have seen.
I was known as Satyavadi Harishchandra in school.
My word.
Yes,
That's
really
huge.
would. Yeah, known for my honesty.
They
and
gave you a
ethics,
simple name like
so-
Vasu and see what happened.
Yeah, so yeah, I was known for one that and two
Were you-
sports.
May I say, were you aggressive?
Very.
No, aggressive as in, would you take people on, the teachers and all that? Were you known to be like that?
I adored my teachers. I would take the students on.
Oh, okay. So you were a bit of a troublemaker, is that fair?
Troublemaker to the troublemakers, yes.
Do I sound like Karan Thapar?
Eh, lahol wala quwwat.
All right. Interesting. So now let's get to the sports side of you because that's also another part of who you are.
Yeah.
So you were very into sports in Delhi?
Yes.
You were good at what? Athletics?
I did Russian ballet for 7 years.
Russian
I danced-
ballet is not a sport, Vasu. Get out of the studio. You ruined it for all of us.
No,
Now
dancer.
every 10-year-old boy in Delhi is going to say, oh, Maji, I want to go to the Russian ballet.
A
This is-
dancer is very physical.
It's not the same thing.
Okay.
Rugby
Fine.
is sport.
I was number 1 athlete in the school.
Really?
Yes. Inter-school as
You
well.
wore your ballet clothes and ran on the
I
field.
got gold medals and everything.
Really? And 100 meters.
100 meters. I was my specialties were 100 meters, high jump, and javelin throw.
Wow, I couldn't even think of doing any of those. Javelin's too heavy, high jump is... Why would you do that? I mean, as an educated human being, why would you jump over a pole which is miles in the sky?
Dude, I'm
I
in
can't-
Delhi. Okay, I live from... the guys, when they come at you, you gotta get out of the way. You gotta jump.
Okay, so you were dodging bullets is what you're saying.
Dude, yeah. man, it's-
But 100 meters. So we'll come back to the athlete side
10
now.
kilometers also.
So now let's fast forward. So you were like the class clown?
Yes, I was.
And but obviously in the 90s or whatever, there was not organized stand-up comedy.
No,
of
I was
anything.
actually thrown out of class once for laughing too
Oh,
much.
please tell us the whole story.
No, I was laughing too much. I was laughing
At
and
your own joke. That I thought only I knew
somebody
that.
did something, and then it was really hot, and I was standing. My teacher said, "Stand up," and I stood up, and then it was really hot. So in the middle of the laughter, I was trying to take off my jacket, and then somebody said, "Okay, kapde bhi utar rahe hain." And then I laughed even more, and then they sent me out of class.
Very low standards of humor in that point in Delhi, I must say. You took off your clothes.
No, I
Somebody
was
said,
already there, it's 90%. I'm already there. Like, you can sneeze on me, I'll still come.
what?
Yeah, it's like that.
If you
it's,
sneeze on me, I'll still come.
in that zone.
My God, not quite
Red
Premchand
zone.
for me, but yeah, it's got its rustic charm, I suppose, for some people. Yeah, Vasu, let's now go back to America once again. So this is not everybody had class clowns. There were always 2 or 3 guys who were brash, probably overconfident. As you said, good at confidence is a key for being the funny guy because you're good at sports, etc. So you had that status. Now you go back to the States and you're doing this geography, urban planning, and law, and you meet Vidur Kapoor.
Yes.
Who's this sort of guru-like figure.
Well,
who
he's a
inspires
stand-up
you.
comedian. He's a friend. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've seen his act, and then you decide I can do this.
No, I saw. He's always been hilarious.
Like even when he's not talking, he's that funny.
Yeah, he really is. In social gatherings, when he's not performing, he's really funny.
He just lies down and people go berserk.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Turns to the right side, people out of the window.
Exactly. He's lovely. And so, he pursued it as a career. Then I decided to pursue it as a career. Started up in San Francisco.
Why I'm trying to go back to this whole thing is I just want to know, because people get inspired by these stories sometimes. Where's that opening moment where you decide to be a comedian? How did that happen?
Not a comedian. I mean, it's like, by comedian, let me parse that. You mean a professional comedian.
Yeah, professional comedian. When you make that jump.
And because I didn't know how to. I love humor, but I didn't know how to. And how does one go about writing their own jokes? I've never written my own joke, right?
Right.
So that, and then I read this book, and he said, read this book, go out and perform.
There's
so
a book on how to be a comedian?
Yes.
Is it a very big book?
It's called The Comedy Bible.
It's too big.
It's,
How many pages?
It's about 250, 300, and there's exercises in it.
You got to lift weights to be a comedian.
Luther.
And one sec, 250 pages, is it hardcover?
Soft cover.
Soft cover.
It comes apart, actually. There's pieces everywhere.
It's important because very low middle class people listening to the show are like, we can't afford the hardcover version. They still want to be comics. We don't want to dissuade anybody.
There's a PDF version.
So what I've understood so far is you wanted to help the world by saving the environment.
Yes.
But by making money for the people saving the environment.
Yes.
And then you were very good at sports.
Yes.
And you take off your clothes in Delhi schools and people would laugh and you would laugh the most and you'd be thrown out of class.
Yes.
You were very popular.
Yes.
And then one day you met a guy called Vidur Kapoor who gave you a book called The Comedy Bible, which is 250 pages and in hardcover. But you took the soft cover version, so you didn't hit anybody, but you have to exercise daily to be a good comedian.
Yes.
And now today you are where you are, having followed this one righteous path to comedy.
Right here.
Am I right?
In front of Sariprucha. Yes.
There you go.
There
you go. It's as simple as that, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening out there, follow these simple steps to fame and fortune. Now let's get to the really strange part. Let's just cut away for a second, tell everybody what happened trying to find our studio. Because you've told us a story which is quite chilling in a way.
Right. Should I start with...
Dubai.
Yes, right. So this always happens to me. So I went to Dubai for my short course triathlon, and I went and stayed with a Didi in Dubai. And then we went to this cycling store, and in the cycling store, I gave my bicycle for maintenance. I gave it to the guy called Michael, and he took down Didi's phone number, and I said, I'm going to call you when it's ready. It's fine. So I went back to Didi's place, and then I took off running, I got lost. And then I didn't know Didi's number, and I didn't know her address, so I started knocking on houses with chappals outside. So I was like, this is an Indian
For some
household.
reason that tells you it's Indian,
Indian. So and I was like, do you know Didi? They're like, no, I don't. And so I was like, no, do you know? I don't. So then I went into an African woman's house and I said, look, I'm lost. She said, well, do you have a number? I said, no. Do you have an address? And no. But my bicycle is being serviced in a cycling store with a guy called Michael. So we called cycling stores around town. Is there a Michael working here? No. Is there a Michael working here? Yes. Can I speak with him, please? Michael, I gave my bicycle to you. It's a felt. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. You just not remember. Yesterday, how can you forget? No, you didn't. But try other cycling stores. There might be a Michael in another store. So I called another cycling store. Is a Michael working there? Yes. I gave you my bicycle as a felt yesterday. He says, yes, as a matter of fact. Can you give me that number, please? Because I'm lost. So that happened, and then I come in here, and Cyrus, his office is like, go to Famous Studios. So I go to Famous Studios, and I call Vagish, and I'm like, is it Linking Road? Yeah, it is. So I go in the elevator, there's this guy there. I was like, I need to go to Famous Studios, like 4th floor. Who are you speaking with? I said, Cyrus. He said, 5th floor. Takes up 5th floor, Studio B. I go in there, open the door, recording. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm looking for Cyrus, and there's this non-Cyrus looking guy, and he's like, I'm Cyrus, and I'm like, oh wow, it's been a long time. You and I performed together at the Comedy Store. No, we didn't. Yes, we did. No, we didn't. You're Cyrus, right? Yes, I am. He's like, you want the other Famous Studios across the road on the left hand side, Span Center. Cyrus? I'm like, yeah, mere saath hi hoti hain ye cheezein.
I tell you, I cannot. Vasu, this is amazing. This coincidence is not funny. This is some sort of karmic connection which no one can explain.
Dude.
How can it happen to you twice in just a little period like that? 2 Michaels, 2 Cyruses, 2 geographical destinations, and you finally go to the second place later. The same story, a parallel.
Yeah, man, my mother says tere saath hi hoti hain aisi cheezein.
Yeah, and she's sort of correct. You seem to be Destiny's Child. Lots more interesting stories coming up. But now let's move on to the fact that you're an internationally celebrated speaker, MC, and comic, and you've performed all over the world. So tell us a little bit about your act. What is your act? I mean, I know about it, but people who haven't seen the act yet.
Right. So I love comedy, but I'm also a social entrepreneur. I'm an Ashoka fellow and all that. So social issues are very close to my heart, specifically the things I talk about. I bring in environment into my comedy. I bring in women's safety. I bring in rape. I bring in LGBT. And I have a fabulous set on Delhi men, which...
Can you do a little bit of that? Just a minute.
University, yeah, absolutely. I'll do Delhi versus Mumbai. Okay?
Yeah, great.
So I said Delhi versus Mumbai. So I'll say this. Delhi men are chivalrous, especially around older people, young children, and big boobs. Delhi men are bisexual. If they don't get it, they go and buy sex. And above all, Delhi men are small. I knew because this guy was pressing up against me in a bus. I turned right around. I'm like, clear se laga do 3 din mein theek ho jayega. But there's a difference between Delhi men and Mumbai men. I find Delhi men are immature. They take offense at the jokes I make about them. Not so Mumbai men. Mumbai men have no problem by making jokes about Delhi men.
Very nice. I, of course, am from neither city. I'm from Paris, so mine is a different culture altogether. We show a lot of respect to women and a very egalitarian setup. But listening to Vasu Primlani, which is a bit of a tongue twister, but then so is the Cyrus brochure, for God's sake. And we're coming now to a slightly different story. You've been a victim of fraud, in a sense.
Yes, entirely, absolutely. It's actually well thought out. It was a statewide scam, apparently.
All right, now you've got to take us, because it's a slightly serious topic, but we need to clear the air here and show everybody that you're absolutely innocent and was a victim of a setup. And this can happen to anyone, actually, in the electronic age. I warn you out there, be very careful. Don't use credit cards online. I feel that's half the problem. And don't use conditioner with shampoo. That's another issue. But let's get back to your entire story, which is you were doing this whole environmental thing with a person from Bangalore.
No.
Go ahead. You tell.
So I ran an environmental nonprofit in the United States, and I named it after a woman in rural Karnataka who's illiterate, and she was quoted in a press article as being untouchable. And despite being untouchable, illiterate, and not being able to have children, she adopted 284 banyan trees as her children. Her name is Timaka.
Okay.
And I was so impressed with the story. Sitting in the United States, I said, let me name my organization after her, precisely because, one, you don't have to have a PhD in environmental science to be an environmentalist, and you don't have to be Bill Gates to be able to afford it.
And it's an inspiring story.
It's an inspiring story. And I met her. I met her in 2003 with a judge from the United States. Mm-hmm. And this woman, Timaka, said, I'm so happy that you named an organization after me. You're like my daughter. We'll eat from the same plate.
Oh my God, no.
Yeah, she said we'll eat from the same plate. We ate from that's no big deal for me. It was a really big deal for her.
Just to cut away for a second, if you have one roti and two people and they pull at it, how does it work?
Yeah, she was coming at it from the untouchable angle that no one is.
That way. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
That you're from a higher caste and you're eating.
Well, that's a good thing. We should all eat from one plate so nobody feels bad. But my whole point is, how do you divide the food?
I distract and take the bigger.
Hey, look, one more treat.
Yeah, there you go.
Go fast.
Exactly. Because it wasn't very much for.
Okay, so you were the American guy, so you met her then?
Yeah, I met her, and then I ran this organization for 13 years, which was greening restaurants, which has absolutely nothing to do with India, Indians, or her. Other than and I would say that this is why I have named this organization after her, to honor her. And when I come back from the US in 2014, there's apparently a lawsuit that she has filed, allegedly at the age of 102. Exactly, there's somebody else behind it. Okay. Allegedly at the age of 100. At 102, you're lucky if you can find your dentures.
Okay, a stupid question. Is she 102?
I don't think so, but
she's about 94.
Whatever. Even if you're 94,
she's older than the trees, and I don't mean disrespect.
Older than the trees, exactly right. You're lucky if you can find your dentures. Okay. Anyway, the lawsuit claims that I have stolen her name and made millions of dollars by using her name.
And I saw you come on a cycle to the studio, so I know you don't have millions of dollars. I mean, I was so embarrassed, I looked away.
You know, tring. What? Yeah.
Tring is all very fine, but there's no question of millions of dollars. Go on.
Right. Well, for various reasons. One, I am a U.S. national. You cannot try me under Indian laws without special permission.
You are the poorest U.S. national. With a
non-profit. Running a non-profit, there is no profit.
Even Jeb Bush has like a bicycle.
Exactly. Proper bicycle.
And he's doing so bad. Go on.
Proper. So I ran this non-profit, so there's no money to be made. The U.S. law says you cannot use a non-profit for private gain. It's not like India where people think they're squirreling away crores of rupees doing nothing. I didn't get half a dozen international awards for sitting on my ass.
That's one thing. The other thing is that you're U.S. citizens who cannot be tried by these courts. There's a process.
Cannot be tried. There's a sovereign. Even if I kill 50,000
so there's the legal issue and there's the ethical issue both. In both cases, you're on the right. And?
Exactly. So there's
I sound like your lawyer, by the way.
Lawsuit, I know. So there's this lawsuit filed on me. And check this out. I did a show in Bangalore at Allianz Francaise.
Yeah.
Okay. 13 cops showed up.
13
cops showed up on a Sunday.
That's the entire Karnataka police
Ramanagaram.
Force.
Yeah, the entire police force in Ramanagaram. They show up and they block the exits and they say, you give us your US passport right now or we'll arrest you on the spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is what I value the most about our police forces, when they catch the comedians, because they're the most dangerous people in India right now.
Yeah, Karnataka's credo is let our rapists go.
That people in Bangalore can sleep well tonight because you were caught at the right time and your passport impounded by 13 zealous cops doing their duty.
Exactly.
Of course, that meant the streets of Bangalore were empty and people could have robbed at the same time because all cops were with you. But that's not the point. The point is that they did their duty.
No, the Karnataka's credo is also let our rapists go. Catch Vasu Primlani.
Yeah.
Yeah, catch the people who make the world happy. So they surrounded the exit. They say, you give us your US passport, we're going to arrest you right on the spot. They had actually sent 2 undercover cops for my previous show. There were 2 back-to-back. For my previous show, who did not pay tickets. They didn't buy tickets. They sat in there, laughed during my show. My ticket checkers told me they were laughing during the show, and they were sitting there with intent to arrest me. Now, there is no greater credential to a comedian if you can make cops laugh who have come to arrest you.
And to make cops laugh while you have your clothes on. Because I've done it once in the station just to pass time, and they did laugh.
Yeah, they did laugh.
They said, just stay like that for another 10 minutes and call their colleagues and friends.
Yeah.
But, okay, jokes apart. So you're there, you're doing a show, and out of nowhere, you've no idea about this.
Yeah, no.
In your mind, you've done something really nice, almost noble. You helped this lady link up her whole tree phenomenon with the US of A. So in a way, you're building bridges between lots of people and the environment.
Yeah.
And then you get arrested literally. Is this so? Is it actually catch you?
The audience intervened. They said
there are so many comedians which they could have arrested instead for really bad humor. Let's name 5.
Oh wow, geez. No, professional. I would not.
Okay, I'll just do Kunal Vijayakar in there. Yeah, go
I
on.
hate some comedians.
I hate all of them. I think they should all study to do medicine or something else.
Yeah.
And then they get all laughter's the best medicine. Just become a doctor, I say.
Yeah, exactly right.
Right.
So so the audience intervened. They said you cannot.
So they came on stage. And it was like an act.
This was between my show 1 and show 2. So there was some audience. So the audience said, because they came after dark. They were trying to arrest me and take me to Ramnagaram after dark.
Right.
And I have this on video.
Yeah.
And my audience said, you cannot take a woman after dark. It's against Indian law.
One second, let's play the video. Oh, that's right. No one will be able to see it. No problem. Go on.
So they were like, no, it's against Indian law. You cannot. So they intervened.
And by the way, were they male cops?
They were mostly male cops. There were 1 or 2 female cops.
What does that mean? Oh, okay, all right.
1 or 2 female cops. Hey, but I go that way, so for me it's fine.
Yeah.
So because of that intervention, they let me go. And my lawyer is like, no, you have to come back to Delhi immediately. He's in such an idiot because I asked him if it's okay for me to go. He's like, yeah, go, no problem. So then I come back to Delhi, and then there's a lookout circular issued against me in all international airports. That if I am to be seen anywhere in the vicinity, arrest her immediately.
Really?
Yeah, based on my passport.
And so then what happened? Come on.
Then my lawyer said, you need to leave the country.
Are you kidding me?
This is this is a second lawyer.
But you're not guilty of anything.
I'm not. She said, you're under mortal danger. She was really building this up to get me into trouble.
So what, she was feeding the other side?
I don't know what the deal is, but this lawyer took 17 lakhs from me in 3 months in expenses alone. She says, oh yeah, I will use such a good person in school also, and I will not let anyone shit all over you, and I will protect you, and I will do expenses alone. And it got me arrested. Basically, this is a nightmare. I went to the customs, I booked a flight to Nepal, and the customs, my passport beeped red on the screen. The custom officer's face turned white.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he actually literally took my passport, walked over, got a senior official, confirmed yes, and got security, immediately got me arrested.
So you're not a terrorist or a drug trafficker or a rapist or a murderer or arsonist or revolutionary. You're just a simple comedian who's trying to do some work with the environment involving a lady from the, let's say, economically backward situation further her life.
Yes. Now I do wish to be a murderer and a rapist.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm quite qualified to be a politician. I've been...
All right, so let people understand. So you actually went to jail?
I went to jail, yes. I spent the night in the Delhi airport
which used to be
corner.
like a jail, but now it's...
That, and then Bangalore cops flew up. Flew up.
On time this time.
At night, yes, and flew me down then took me to Ramnagaram. I was not presented before a magistrate as I was
supposed to be. Not to make light of the situation, but when they fly you back down, do you choose your own seat and all that? How does it work?
I think between these two.
Oh my God.
So I don't run.
What if you want to use the loo? Like, I always like the aisle.
I know, me too. I do the aisle.
Give me aisle because I have a peeing problem.
I have to pee too.
I
have to constantly go. Yeah,
and I hate going over people and stepping on their feet because they give you dirty looks forever.
One of the cops, she was pregnant and she had a headache, so I took away her headache.
So she needed to pee also?
I took care of her headache. I fixed it for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then we went there. They were civil.
Yeah, they were nice actually. Yeah. And then took me to Ramnagaram. I was not presented before a magistrate within 24 hours as is the law.
Yeah.
Then from Ramnagaram, I slept on the floor for 3 nights.
They didn't give you a bed?
No bed.
Did they see the act?
And one of them also refused to feed me. He's like, I will not give you food. I will not feed
But why?
you. Because I'm a criminal. I have over their sacred Timaka.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God. There is a big bad NRI.
I thought he's like me and I don't like to share food. I'm like, he's got one plate and thinking, no, not for you. Let me finish.
No. Big bad NRI. You should have seen when I arrived in Ramanagaram. There were video cameras. They were falling over each other trying to get this big bad.
Let's put this in perspective. Not since Veerapan have they had such a huge lookout in the forest of Karnataka for a very dangerous, vicious criminal.
Exactly.
You should be honoured.
Exactly right. I'm very...
You're with Veerapan. You're right there. Right there.
Personal medal, man.
Yeah. And look at you.
Yeah.
You're a giver. You went and helped the pregnant lady with a headache. Yeah. You're nice to all of them. The guy doesn't share his food with you. They don't give you a bed and not an unkind word. I think you're a wonderful person.
Yeah.
Let's heal.
Yeah, no, I have stories from prison too that are very interesting.
Please, tell us more, but I think we have to take a break. Shall we take a quick break so we can get in as much as we can? Lots of interesting stuff. Vasu's story, entire life, it's like a documentary from Banged Up Abroad. Isn't that the show? Scary as it is. When we come back, lots more and a few jokes as well. Vasu, people have to laugh. They'll think you're a documentary filmmaker.
Yeah,
and there's enough suffering in the world anyway. It has to have a happy ending. You have to come out of jail and share food with that same cop.
Exactly, idiot.
Ajinomoto in the Chinese food is always welcome when the people are not sharing. We'll take a break, come back.
Cyrus says, stop picking your nose, listen to this ad.
Now, if you want to listen to some brilliant indie music from all over the country, it's really simple. You can find me on Made in India. That's madeinindia.in. My name is May, and it's spelled M-A-E-D. Now, I've had some great artists on the show, including the likes of Nikhil D'Souza, The Cognac Net, Last Remaining Light, Tejas Menon, The Other People, Alicia Pays, Lakshmi Baum, Vasudha Sharma, Ankur Tiwari, and so many more. Now, if you want to subscribe, you can go to iTunes or Stitcher or your favorite podcast app, or you can find me on my website. That's madeinindia.in. That's M-A-E-D, or on Twitter and Facebook on Made in India.
Back here, Vasu's telling us stories here on Cyrus Says, which an eye-opener she is by a professional stand-up comedian. She's done lots of different things. She's also a psychiatrist. We'll come to that. But let's finish this story about prison, which is, I'm sorry to sound like a gossip, but it's very interesting. So now you're on the floor of a prison somewhere outside Bangalore, right? Yeah,
no, this is the police station. So then they take me to the police hospital, get me checked by the doctor, any, beatings or anything broken.
For the magistrate,
Yeah. And the magistrate was such a sleaze. Every time I saw him, I felt like slapping him right across his face.
Well, I don't think you're allowed to say that. Oops. Okay, no worries. Then
there's no name.
Yeah.
Not using any names.
So
oh my God, such horrible people.
So how did it end? What happened?
Oh, sorry. So then I went from the police station. From the police station, they took me. So whether I was going to be granted bail or not that day, I was not granted bail. That means she will be put into judicial custody. That means prison.
Right.
I could not believe.
Where are friends and family at this point?
I could not believe. I didn't tell my parents because they would die.
Come on, you're in jail. Who are you going to call? Ghostbusters?
I didn't call anybody. No. My friend knew. My friends knew. But here's the thing. I was like, this is what India does to one of the most honorable, the most awarded and ethical Indian environmentalists in the world. This is what India does.
So this explains.
I am standing in front of Bangalore Central Prison. Okay? I have been taken there in a jeep with one constable to my left, one constable to my right, one police inspector in the front, one driver, male driver, and two constables behind me because I am under 24-hour watch.
You could escape from Up.
I should have.
If it was a Keanu Reeves film, I would have gone through the top of the van and all. Right. But anyway.
So here's the thing. This cop to my left had taken quite a shine to me. She's trying to tell me in Kannada. She's like, I really like you, I really like you, I really like you.
In a romantic way?
Yes.
Man, you got a real...
I really like you. No,
what an interesting story.
She's like...
You can pick up girls while you're being arrested. I couldn't pick up girls if I was the captain of the freaking cricket team.
She's very cute. I have a photograph with her. So then she's like... She keeps whispering in my ear in broken English and Kannada. She's like, I'm sorry, Amma. I didn't do this, Amma. I am not judge, Amma. I am constable, Amma. Don't, not me, Amma. Don't be angry, Amma. So she kept saying that, and finally,
at which point did you tell her you're not Amma?
Fault. Yeah. So I'm like, it's like, fine, it's not her fault. So she was sleepy, so I took her into my arms. She slept in my arms the entire way.
Wow, what a story. This is now beyond Ekta Kapoor, Salim Javed, beyond all the greatest It's right of all time. You're cuddling the constable on your way to jail, and you're feeling terrible about your life and feeling really hurt and, being a crusader of sorts.
Yeah. And then she puts her hand on my thigh. She
God! What kind of story is this? It was all your suffering. This is the best night of your life.
I know. She gives her hand on my thigh the entire way. It's like 3-4
Women
hours.
in uniform. Yeah.
Even, when we arrived, the driver...
So what do the other cops do? They don't bother about all this?
They know. They see what's going on. And the driver actually said, the male driver, he turned around, he said in Kannada, I don't understand Kannada, but I got the gist of this. He said, what's going on between cop and criminal back there? Right? So he saw because she was sleeping in my arms. Now, here's the thing. When we arrived in front of Bangalore Central Jail, nobody moved. Nobody opened a door.
Why?
Because they all knew what the agenda was. They knew I don't eat wheat and rice. Okay? So they're like, we've got to feed her because we don't know what kind of food she's going to get in prison.
Right.
So they had stopped on the way and gotten ilchi bananas, these are the bananas I eat, the small bananas. Right. And they got an entire bunch for me. And this
Please
one
don't
was
say
like...
small bananas. I get very touchy about that whole thing. Go on.
Yeah. So she was like, please eat them.
Why did you say small bananas?
Please eat them. Sorry,
I'm distracted. So this is a nice story actually, this part of it.
Yeah, so she was like, please eat, Amma, please eat. I was like, no, I will not trust you ever again. It's
calling me Amma!
It's because of you that I'm in this soup. You didn't believe me. You know I'm innocent. You did this. They deliberately did this. They knew up and down that I was innocent.
No, but she was not involved. She was just following orders.
She wasn't involved. I know, but I was upset, right? So then she's like, please eat.
Bangalorean rapper who's female? MC Amma. Sorry, back to you.
So then she's like, please eat. So I ate one banana. She's like, eat another. I was like, no, I can't eat anymore.
So there was a little humanitarian angle here.
There really was. Because I was also taking care of them. They knew. They knew that I'm a good person.
You were a nice person and it was all fixed.
I didn't have time.
So can I just cut to the chase here, sorry.
Yeah.
But who's the person? Have you figured out who's behind this lady Tamaka, with all due respect, doesn't come from the side of the street where she'd be able to understand the kind of legal implications and the kind of shortcomings and wrongdoings that have happened. So who's behind her? Who do you think?
No, there is somebody who has political power and a lot of money to throw around. Because to get 13 cops...
But why do they go after you? There's some personal angst?
I don't know. I don't go around harming people.
How bad can your act be, Vasu? How much can they hate it?
I know.
Really? A lot of people say, I don't like your jokes. Okay, fine. You don't like my jokes.
Maybe it's a homophobic thing. I don't know.
Oh, the sexual part.
Yeah.
You think?
I think.
Oh, Christ.
Why? What else? What else have I done?
Still, I find it hard to believe.
What else have I done?
To go out of your way just because you don't agree with someone's sexuality, that's a lot of hard work.
Oh, you know what? Every time there is something illogical and completely crazy that happens, it's the religious right that's involved.
Okay, we'll come to the religious right. Let's finish this story. Now you go into meet the magistrate, whatever. They put you back inside the jail.
Yeah,
judicial custody.
So just like a film, you have a huge cast iron door, and then
our films always have central jail.
Yeah,
like wherever, if you're in Bangalore, central jail. If you're in the north, east, wherever, it's central jail. They couldn't figure out a second jail name.
Yeah,
I was mid central jail. No.
Sorry. So Bangalore, and I cannot believe this. They're gonna put me in jail. Right? Yeah. So I go in there, they write down the name, what is the name of the father and stuff. They take me inside.
Sounds like a prayer.
They register and the Son and the Holy Ghost. And then they register me, and then they take me inside to the women's section.
Your lawyer is with you?
No.
Nothing? Nobody's with you?
Nobody's with me.
Just that Amma who's holding you tight?
Actually, there was a friend in Bangalore who took risk of her own life and liberty and came and spent the night with me in the police station.
So you got some good stories also. See, you made some good people in all this terrible mess.
Incredible courage.
The constable was there was a bit of a niceness about her.
Yeah.
This friend has shown true grit. Then?
Yeah. And then they took me to the women's wing, and then they put me there. It's like, they're going to do a strip search.
See, again, that's working for you.
But no, you know what? I don't take my clothes off in front of just because you say so. I said, no, absolutely not. This ain't gonna happen. It's from my choice if I take off my clothes, not yours. That'll never happen.
So what happened?
So then they gave me a ganda blanket.
Let me create the suspense for people listening.
They're like, okay.
Vasu, what happened next?
No. I was like, no way, off. They're like, okay, fine.
Those were your exact words in Kannada?
Yeah, I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. I said, no, it's not.
So they backed off?
Yeah, they backed off. Then they gave me this dirty blanket and a dirtier pillow. And then they put me in this cell And I was put in a cell with 5 women who'd committed murder.
Oh my
it's
God.
against Indian law to put a person
Under
who
trial,
is
yeah.
under trial treat them like criminals. I was treated as the highest criminal.
And with absolutely. So in the caste system of prisons, you're on the top now.
Yes.
You're with the worst.
Yes.
And you're basically convicted of fraud. Not convicted, supposedly convicted. Yeah.
Actually 66 to 80% of the prison population in India
Wrongly convicted.
are under trials. They have not yet been convicted. And they
And they
are
just stay there.
treated. Yes. And oftentimes they stay in there for a term longer than if they had been sentenced for the crime that they're accused
What if they
of.
win the case and they've spent 1.5 years in jail and actually they've been proven innocent? Then how do you give them the 1.5 years back?
There is no legal recourse, and this needs to change. You
So
cannot
you can't even sue the
take,
state?
You cannot take anyone's 1 minute of anyone's time without that person's. This is kidnapping and torture.
Yeah, and also, how do they back do it then? Once having put you in as an under trial for
Apparently,
months.
there's nothing. They're like, oh, sorry. There's not even a, oh, sorry.
So you won
They're
the case.
just so grateful.
We won't talk about other things and we'll run out of time. You won the case. My
Yeah.
point is quickly, you spent 6-7 nights in prison.
Yes.
And so those 6-7 nights have to be returned to you, in a sense.
Oh, and 3 months after that, I had PTSD, and 2 years after.
What is PTSD? Is it
Post-traumatic stress disorder. I lost 10 kilos in 7 days.
Oh my God, that's good.
That was my best weight loss reduction program.
Did
but
you thank the judge?
I couldn't think. I couldn't string a sentence for 3 months.
Oh, so obviously it was
I
much...
couldn't get out of my room, lying down.
So we're joking about it now, but obviously it was not easy. Now I want to cut to the chase. You've been cleared of everything. That's very important for people to know. And that person has backed off or have been told to back off.
Let me tell you what the judge said, the High Court judge. She said, A, she is a U.S. national. You cannot touch her without special permission from the center. B, even if everything you accused her of was true, it still doesn't amount to a crime.
And where's Timaka and all this?
And C, this is clearly an extortion case.
He said that?
Right in writing.
And
In the judgment.
Is there an apology from the lower court in Bangalore?
No apology.
Is there an apology from the police that arrested you and
None whatsoever.
the investigative officers?
No.
Only Amma wants to hug you.
Oh, no, she does. This one?
No, the one in the Jeep.
That
It's
one.
your story,
That
Vasu,
one.
not my
I'm
story.
Amma. She's a...
Oh, sorry,
no, she
you're Amma.
was
You're
a-
Amma. I
yeah,
should
yeah.
listen. Yo, Amma.
Yeah, the cute constable.
The cute constable and all that.
Yeah.
You found an angel of hope who's pretty, which is interesting. Okay, so we're making fun of this entire story, but Vasu went to hell and back. She's back now. And here's one thing that we want to promote for quickly. Apparently, last couple of months, work has been hard because people have just misunderstood that you're some sort of convict. Now, I have spent 1 hour with you. You have not hurt me in any way. You won't, right?
I restrained myself.
Please do. And just to tell everybody out there that you're back with a bang, you're completely recovered, you want to do shows and events, and the corporates out there who read this ridiculous, well, not biodata, but where is it exactly? On your website?
Yeah, no, whenever you do a Google search on my name, it comes up on the front page.
So the first thing that comes up is some sort of court case, conviction, whatever, and that scares them off. Please understand that there is no court case. There was no conviction. You were wrongfully detained, and if anything, you were absolutely the victim. Forget
Absolutely
criminal.
am.
And you're back, and you want to work, and please, let Vasu work, otherwise she'll drive us mad. Fair enough?
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's leave that tragic side of, because now you've moved on and one has got to be positive. I know it's not right to just rubbish it in a minute, but you have to get back on your feet and you have. Let's not quickly talk because we have very little time. Let's quickly talk about the fact that you're a somatic therapist.
Right. So when you say psycho means psychological, soma means
I thought
body.
that's when you make up injury and pain and all this. Isn't that psychosomatic?
Oh, no, actually, most disease, the cause of it is psychological.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So somatic is I work with body, I work with bones particularly, and I take out trauma. I work with rape victims, I work with ADHD kids.
But in some bodies you can't find the bones. That, you tried with me, for example.
Well,
It took a little while.
yeah.
You searched, you drilled, you called home.
With
you
with
took
a
a
lot
break.
of politicians, the bones are
Oh, are you
missing.
doing that? Those are flexible men. Flexible men.
Spineless.
They don't look it. All right.
Yeah, so I work with that, and this is transformational change. Just 2, 3, one session, you'll see a lot of change.
No, but you told us a very nice story about a 9-year-old boy. If we can quickly get that in, an example of how it, because people don't understand that this is actually a healing process.
Yeah.
So what do you do, and what happened with the kid?
So one of my clients is an ADHD boy. He's 9 years old, and he's can't sleep beyond 2 hours. He's got dark circles under his eyes. He's very aggressive. He beats up on his family members. And I did 2 somatic sessions with him, and now he would sleep at 11:30, wake up 2-3 times in the night, and call up his parents. So his parents would never get an uninterrupted sleep. And now he sleeps at 10:30, gets up at 7:30 for school or 9 o'clock, and he even if he gets up at 9, goes himself to pee and comes back. He even without meds now, he's mischievous, but he's not aggressive anymore. The black circles under his eyes are gone, and I want to reverse this ADHD actually. So that's what I'm working towards.
I also get up to pee 3 or 4 times in the night, but I'm 44. Sometimes, I just feel lazy and don't tell my wife, but I just let it out a little bit on the side of the bed. Like, come on, this is Mumbai. We were voted 10th most polluted city in the world once. Hello, show some respect.
Okay, keep a bottle or wear a diaper, one of the two.
No, but I missed the bottle, it hits my fingers. I don't like my fingers get squeezed. All these things people think are easy. Vasu, it's not easy. I want all men to try to pee in a bottle when they're sleepy. It's not a joke. It's very difficult. It's an art form. I mean, you can't just aim and boom, it goes in like that. You're 44 years old. You have to coax your what you may call it first. Performance is not just sex; it's also peeing. Hello. Sometimes I forget my pee is over. It's like a 2 innings pee now. So I pee once, and then there's a break for lunch, and then I pee again. It's the same pee. Okay, Vasu's having a breakdown for some reason. I don't know why. It's my peeing problem, but whatever. Now let's jump quickly. So you do this, you have time to do this as well, but you also are an absolute top-of-the-line triathlon, which I'm told requires a hell of a lot of training, so I don't know how you have time to do all this. You're a triathlete and a rock climber and a long-time athlete, and you do all this simultaneously even today.
Yeah.
So tell us about the triathlon kind of schedule. What do you do? Let's explain. You have to swim 20 kilometers, then cycle 50, and then run 100. So every day you practice from 9 to 9 in the night, running, cycling, and swimming. In between, you've got court cases. Yeah. And the lady who calls you Amma will cuddle you. That's what happens.
That's right. That's my life. There are 4 levels of the triathlon. I'm training for the Ironman. But
you're a woman, not to get into the whole...
No, you develop balls, man.
Oh, God, I lost mine. This is really strange interaction here.
So you swim 3.8 kilometers in the ocean or the river, and you bike 180 kilometers. And then
180?
Yeah. And then
but then swimming is like just 3.8.
There's no just in 3.8.
It's
in
a lot.
The ocean, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Do you get eaten up by sharks or you lose it?
Actually, my first 2 triathlons were the highest incidence of shark population in the United States.
But they do like out of 40 competitors, you just say, sorry, we lost Doshi today.
Yeah, you just have to make sure you're not the slowest one. Yeah. So 3.8 swimming, 180 cycling, and 42 kilometers run. The full marathon, and you have 17 hours.
And there's no gap, right? You finish swimming first. Then you get on your cycle, so that's your rest period.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you actually run for 42 kilometers. Yeah. Isn't that the toughest part, going from sitting on the bike to actually running?
Yeah, it is hard, particularly because then the fatigue has caught up to you, right? Because it's not this plus this plus this. It's exponentially harder as you go on.
Are you allowed to take any drugs?
No drugs. You're allowed hydration and nutrition.
So somebody has to accompany you. So you have somebody else on a motorbike.
You carry it. You carry it with you.
But then that'll be like weight training. You'll have that on top of this.
Yeah, no, we stick it on our bicycles.
Why do you do this? This doesn't sound like fun. Why can't you do what I do? Just lie on your back and scratch. Try that. No shocks.
This is one of the hardest races on earth.
Ridiculous. What a strange
And because
person.
it's impossible.
You went to jail for 7 nights. You had that terrible trauma. You need this on top of that? I had like 2 years off the triathlon for now.
Yeah. I didn't know I was training for a
And you should be swimming with a goldfish, not shark. Please talk to your people.
No
be like, how sweet, fishy, come here, kiss. Should be one of those.
I've actually swum in the ocean with dolphins. And
are they nice?
Very, but you're very scared of them because they're as big as a room. They're massive creatures.
But they're generally
friendly.
friendly.
First time a dolphin comes towards you, you think, is this fin a shark fin or a dolphin fin? Because you don't know the difference
don't they have
initially.
That jump thing?
Yeah, that's the difference. But if it's going side by side, And
do they touch you with their mouth and all that? Do they smell you?
They came in within 3 feet of me, but they didn't out of kindness because I was frightened.
It was a straight dolphin, you see. You didn't get the right one. There you go.
Yeah, then
which brings me to my next.
Put your hand on my thigh.
Which brings us to our next subject. We'll try and squeeze this in, the LGBT movement. Now, you've been an outspoken, sort of champion for alternate sexuality, if that's the right word, or for freedom of sexuality. I think that would be a better phrase. Tell us a little bit about the LGBT movement and where it's headed here in Mumbai. In India, we keep hearing about this article being repealed, not repealed. What's going to happen?
Right. As a social activist, I wouldn't say that when a law is changed in a country that does help. But what brings about real change is when social attitudes change. So as cities go, Mumbai is very progressive, although it has its flip side as well. Bangalore is quite progressive. Delhi is less so.
But do you feel it's better now in the last 5 years?
It has been better.
Do you think people are more
primarily
accepting,
because
or we
people have
still
been
the
talking
same?
about it. Because before that, you'd be like, "Are shaadi kyun nahi kar lete?" And they
No,
don't.
but can they talk openly about their sexuality with their family and friends and all the extra people? Or is it still like, don't mention that you're, like this?
I do. And lots of people do. But as long as there are people who are afraid of other people, you will not hear this.
Do you ever
truth
feel let
from your
down by
friend.
big celebrities who are part of alternate sexuality but don't want to come out? Because they could be real champions. If you have a big politician or big industrialist, big cricketer,
Yeah.
blah, 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 film star,
Yeah.
I mean, that would make a big difference, right? Because those are the guys who really people follow and sort of... I
Yeah.
always think maybe they let down the community.
Not to me, because to me as a therapist, again, it's a matter of personal choice and feeling safe personally, because I've taken a lot of risks.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Do you do something for a community which is always on the back foot, or do you say my safety comes first? There's a trade-off there.
Yeah, it's your safety comes first.
So
For me, no, but a lot of people
So you
who are
don't judge
rational,
these people? You
No.
say just because they're in big positions, they don't
It's
have to
no.
come out and say, hey, I'm gay, and no big deal. Get on with it.
It's nobody's right to have you come out, make you come out, or...
I'm going to come out today. You've inspired me, Vasu. I'm going to come out and say, I've been straight 44 years and it's not working. It's not working.
Yeah, you know what? You just take it somewhere else. Get a room.
You think?
Yeah, so that's just sick.
But I need a partner.
That's sick. That's disgusting.
Any partner. Even like the goldfish we mentioned.
I mean, did you
earlier.
come in here to put me in the same room with perverts?
Yeah, I'll tell him to leave. Kiran, get out. This guy's disgusting. All right, before we let you go, therapist, triathlete, rock climber, long-term athlete. You're still doing the environmental thing as well. I mean, after all that's happened, it's not like taking left a bad taste in the mouth and you're like, oh God, why do I even get myself involved?
No, I am a sustainability consultant, but I was the director of Ecotel Hotels for a while.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm the big guns in the environment, but I haven't been, because it's really too late for the environment. It's too late.
You think?
For the earth, yeah.
We're wasting our time. It's all gone already.
It's gone because...
it's like my childhood.
According to NASA, the Arctic is going to be summer ice-free by the year 2020. According to the US Navy, that year is 2016.
This is 2016.
Exactly. So there's a biotic reality in a biosphere. When it's going towards destruction, it'll try and save itself, protect the world. But when it goes into past 80%, it goes into a tailspin and nothing you can do. And in fact, there are scientists today that say that if you were to stop industry and pollution 100% right now, it's too late. And we're not.
So we might as well use diesel, huh? And gas. Better call my dad. Hey, Dad, don't change the car. No, thanks for telling me.
Or start up on the comedy bit, because I might as well be the band on the Titanic.
All right. Very interesting stories from Miss Primlani. But before we let you go, what's coming up next in your life?
I've got good news.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can't tell you.
Male or female?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I can't tell
you. Tell us. You're doing a movie?
No, I can't tell you.
You're doing a TV show?
Can't tell you.
You're doing a huge event?
I can't tell you.
You're going back to Bangalore? What?
It's a secret.
Come on, give us something.
No,
What's coming up in your future?
Oh, yeah, what's coming up in my future is I'm doing a lot of inspirational talks, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting life. You know, I mean, lots to share. Thank you so much for being on the show, but we have a thing called the AMA before we let you go. And I want you to take part in that because you've always got an opinion. Here comes a wonderful anchor into the studio. I think his name is Amit, and he's going to take us to the AMA. Vasu, it's time to tell the truth.
Cyrus says, ask me anything. If you want Cyrus to answer your questions on air, send an email to whatcyrussays@gmail.com. If you send us a link to a sound file on SoundCloud, we'll even play you asking the question in your own voice. And that's what Cyrus says.
All right, back here on the podcast is Amit Doshi in the saddle. So, what have you got?
So I guess the first question we have is from Pallavi Kulkarni.
I love Pallavi.
Yes.
In a nice way.
Well, she's written to us a couple of times. So, I mean, she's got.
I didn't know that, but thank you for telling me. Pallavi, how are you?
Okay. So her question is, Cyrus, what would happen in the best ever episode of Cyrus Says?
It'll end quick. I can tell you that. The whole idea is we start, we finish, everybody's happy. Amit, why don't you let yourself answer that question?
What would happen in the best ever episode?
Because you're a producer, you have a more objective viewpoint.
It would be a really, really good episode, and lots of people would download it, and lots of people would share it.
Commercial angle.
Yeah, share it. Everybody share it.
I'm going to TEDx talk tomorrow, so maybe that'll help. We'll promote it there.
Okay, all right. I read about that, actually. I did see that. I saw that.
TEDx, bro. TEDx. This is zenith of your career. You can't go higher than that. Apparently.
Then TEDx?
Yeah.
No, then TED.
But TED without the X.
Yeah.
Vasu, you're not saying anything. Don't two grown men talk and get away with it?
Huh. Bolo.
What do you think would happen on the best ever episode of Cyrus Says?
people will take the recording and play it in their bed as they go to sleep. And
I don't know, that's really complimentary. That's the most disgusting thing I've heard in my life.
I mean, seriously, you're saying that he's gonna put them to sleep? That's not
No,
so
actually
good.
not that way. Before sleeping, you can engage in a few activities.
It's almost spiritual. Do you get what she's saying? It's spiritual. The last thing you do is connect with God almost.
Right. So connect with Cyrus.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, next question we have is, what do you think about Priyanka Chopra on Baywatch?
On Baywatch?
You don't know that? She's
Of course I know that, Amit. Of course I know that. She's on Baywatch.
She has been cast for the new Baywatch movie as villain.
As a villain?
The movie also stars The Rock.
The Rock?
As David Hasselhoff.
Much better than David Hasselhoff.
Hey, is she going to be running like slow motion?
Well, she's the villain, but
she can run slow motion.
But she could still run slow motion.
Baywatch is about running slow motion.
Why can't they just call David Hasselhoff for the slow motion? He's so old now, it'll be in slow motion. It makes sense.
Geez. But for her, for us to watch, that's what...
For me, it's the highest point as an actor, if you actually get the role of a person who runs on the beach through an episode.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you do. And I think, for me, I have a lot of respect.
You think that's the highest calling for an actor?
I think it beats Macbeth any time of the day.
No shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm very excited. I think it's great that India has this one actor. Now Om Puri, you're gone. Because you'll be replaced by Priyanka Chopra. Irfan, you're nobody. Can you run on the beach, Irfan, with your shirt off? No, you won't do it.
Zing.
I won't do it. But Priyanka will do it. Shirt off, right?
Yeah, sure. Well...
Or Indian version will have clothes on.
Indian version.
And it'll be our beaches, a stone in her foot. She'll be crying in pain, bleeding. A jellyfish bites her. There's no body on the speed dial. You can't get the ambulance in time. We've lost Priyanka Chopra. But we got The Rock. He belongs here. He got rocks everywhere.
Yeah, you can meet Vasu Primlani swimming in the ocean.
Why? Because you're doing a triathlon.
There
you go. But you think you'll shout, Rock, the cycle! Idiot! Pass the cycle! And he couldn't get the accent.
Oh, man.
Yeah, great. I think after Quantico, the only way to go is up. And then he laughs in his head.
Quantico.
It's fun. It's good. Right. I think whatever, as long as our Indian names are out there and being accepted more, all helps all of us. She's a nice girl. She's never harmed anyone.
Yeah,
I'm not going to hurt all the lovely film stars that are out there. You never know.
Cool, man. I think it's good.
When they're fading glory, they may look at you again.
Okay.
Oh. Boss has gone to sleep, by the way.
All right, cool. That's all I got on this stuff.
All right, that's it for us on the podcast. It's called Cyrus Says. This one was with Vasu. And tomorrow it's without Vasu.
You're listening to Cyrus Says.
All views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily the views and opinions of the Indus Vox Media Network or any of our show advertisers or sponsors. No animals were harmed in the making of this podcast, obviously.
All right, watch film critic and writer, my personal friend Anirudh Guha, who's always in a good mood. He talks about the films and TV shows that have changed his dietary preferences and made him into a nervous wreck. Anirudh Guha, with a G. That's Ganirudh. Check it out on ivmpodcast.com.